audio test. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. We're here in Amsterdam, flying down to Verona. It's not going to be too long a flight today actually, only about an hour and 20 minutes, a little bit shorter than I initially planned, but should be okay, should still be alright, so be a bit of a short stream. As I said, with these cargo flights it's the best I can do, because of how they work out, these cargo flights. It basically means that I couldn't do 2 flights today because the return from Verona is to Stansted, which is like a 2-hour flight, just under. And I've already done that one off camera, so I thought I'd do this one because I don't want to go in and out of the UK all the time. You know, I want to do some interesting things on the channel. But that's how it works. And I could have done like Stansted to Paris to Frankfurt, but they're both 350 miles, 200 miles. Like, basically, it works out that, it just works out being, the flights are quite long, but they're not, so they're long enough, basically, they're above, like, an hour, which means they're not really suitable for, for one stream there and back, but they're not quite above an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, which makes it decent for a stream, but never mind. We'll get on with it anyway. We're loaded in here in Amsterdam Schiphol Airport at the cargo ramp, Gate Romeo, all the Romeos, we're parked at currently. So, we're going to be, I don't know, I haven't really decided what runway we're going to be taking yet, looking at I think we're going to take 24, that'll be, and we were initially planning to take 18 left, 18 right, which is the Polder Barn, which is really far away, so that'd be a no, as there's no use for that. Generally it's only used when it's really busy, like in real life, but it's not like that right now, obviously. In the game, there's no one here, and in terms of, so we could go off, but basically, it's the shortest taxi. We could have gone off 18 centre as well, but looking at it, it's a shorter taxi to 24. The width's a 210, so it doesn't really matter whether we use a 24 or a 18, and they're actually the same length. Actually, the 24 is slightly longer, so there's no issue there in terms of any of those factors. So I think we're going to use runway 24. It's the easiest taxi. We're going to taxi out, push back left, taxi all down Alpha or Bravo or whatever to runway 24. Nice and simple. So yeah, we are here on the ground in Amsterdam Schiphol. Massive airport there. It's absolutely massive. Just connecting to Vatsim. Call sign today is Skyway 7552. And we are, of course, a B77. I have to put L, sadly. It drives me nuts, that, because all the controllers think I'm a all the controllers think I'm like a 777 passenger, but I'm not. I'm a cargo, but because Vatsim recognises it as a B77L, not a B77F, which is, I think, what the short code is for it actually in the real world, but what are you going to do? So we're on the ground here. Let's go ahead and get the plane set up then, and we can go ahead and get everything ready today. Good. I forgot to listen to the audio test I did, which was a bit silly. So, just make sure my audio is all good. Right, we'll turn on the IRSs then. and the packs can go into auto because they're just they manage themselves nicely. Nav lights turned on already, so everything's all ready to go. Then these can go into the FMC, and we'll get this one onto the FS Actions page. Just want to make sure. Basically, we want to make sure before we do anything that this plane knows where we are in the world. There we go. And we can see that it's going to take us 9.5 minutes to align. So quite a high amount of time, but there we go. Great. So our next job is to... This is actually... I didn't do this yet. I will do this now. I need to start the SimBrief downloader. And sort that out. There we go. Right. So we need to download. We need to download something to PMDG Wind and PMDG Flight Plan. I'll go ahead and export those. And that means everything is good. There we go. I'll just quit the SimBrief upload. It stays on in the background. But there we go. So that means our route is in here for when we need it. Obviously, I'm not going to plug it in just yet. There's no ATC, sadly. So we're just going to go over to Unicom on 1228. And, well, we can get on with plugging in the routes for today's flight then. Not the routes, the weights. And we can sit back and watch GSX handle it all. So, right, so go into payload. Actually, we'll sort out the fuel first because it'll give us an accurate ground weight then. We're taking 18,000 kilos of fuel, 17,970 to be exact. Boom, 12% on the fuel, so not much then, is it? I mean, that's how it works in a big plane like this, on a short flight. Then payload, obviously you just put in the zero fuel weight, which is 195.4, so not too full. A lot lighter because we're taking a lot less cargo than the last flight we did. It's like that with cargo operations. The load level you have is always so random. But 50% load level on there. So we're not particularly heavy today, which is nice. It's nice not to be the heaviest bird in the skies for once. And return. And this can just sit here now, I think, until we need it more. Now I can go ahead and get our route plugged in. Obviously, just because the IRSs are aligning, it doesn't mean we can't do anything in the FMC. So I'm heading down to Lima, India, Papa X-Ray, Verona Via Franca Airport, and we'll go ahead and request the route. That will find the route we just pasted in there a moment ago, hopefully. Right, request has been sent. We should get it back soon. Oh yeah, we need to open the doors. Open that. Our route has been put in, so we'll go ahead and load it. And once it's loaded, I'll just check it's correct, and then we can get started. So we're still just waiting on it right now. There we go. I think it's loaded. Mizgo, Cole, Ridzu, Utaba, Orlo, Movor, Idrek. Yeah, everything's all perfect. It's set the route all fine. We'll do the perf in it uplink right now. Why not? We'll activate the route and then perf in it. So cost index is 90. However, it's got this wrong. It's a cruise level of 370 today. We're planning, but everything else is looking pretty good. The zero fuel weight 195.4. Is that exactly what we put in? Yeah, that was exactly what we put in. Yeah, 195.4. So it's all correct then. Just the cruise altitude, so we can accept that and then change the cruise altitude to 370. However, this wants a this wants a wind data uplink first, so we'll do that. Execute, and this is also going to tell me there's a descent forecast that's ready. Yes, I know, plane. Right. Oh, how do I go back to the perf in it now? performance in it. There we go. 370. There we go. Let's change that. What's our plane doing? What are they trying to get me to do? Oh, they're probably trying to get me to open the front door, aren't they? For the crew. Obviously, we do have five crew members normally. Or in this case, 0 apparently. They never asked me. There's the massive loads of cargo. They've already finished one lot of pallets, I think. But they're moving on to the second lot of pallets now, so we'll let them do their job on that. And we'll sort this out. So departure, as I said, we're going to be using runway 24 today. You know, there's not a set 80s or anything, so looking at the wind, 24 is perfect, and it's the shortest taxi for us, because sometimes around Schiphol, especially if you're taxiing to something like runway 22 on this side of the airfield, or the Polderbahn, which is 18 right, if you're taxiing to any of those, it can be a long one. But to try and avoid that today, because obviously the only reason they have to do that in real life is when it's full on the ground. We're taking the Rend 1 Sierra out to Adupu today. Adupo. So that means everything is all good and ready to go then. Just want to go ahead and check. There are a few restrictions that we need to be notified of, so I'll just check they're all correct. Because they're a bit weird. It's like a SID that sort of ends at Rendy and then continues on west. It's a bit of an odd one. So there's a restriction on here. We need to be above flight level 250 at Amosu. Amosu is not even on our route. We're going to Adupo. Oh, let's just forget that then. We're going to Adupo, and then from there we're proceeding on to our own route. So we're not even going all the way to Amosu. That's fine then. There's no restrictions at all. If there's a VFR flight, we have a restriction at Rendy, but obviously we're not flying VFR. Initial climb should be 6,000, but there's no ATC, so we're just gonna whack it all the way up to 370 because why not? Just makes our job a lot easier. And we can go ahead and click weather and traffic on here. Make sure weather turbulence is active. TCAS is saying TCAS fail because obviously, you know what, yeah, we'll get rid of the traffic we'll get rid of all this until it's aligned, just to make sure we don't have any failures. We've still got 2 minutes to wait until it aligns. QNH down here right now is 1011, so we'll go ahead and set that. It's actually at -1 feet, Schiphol Airport. I'm not sure how that's possible, how somewhere can be at -1 feet, but Schiphol Airport manages it. So yeah, we'll just watch our beautiful 777 be loaded now. It does take quite a while to load, obviously, this 777. It's one thing that does add to the wait times of the streams. I guess, short flights, but it does take an age to load. I mean, because you've got so many... The cargo is always the slowest thing to load in GSX. Especially when we've got live cargo like this. Like, it's not just boxes of baggage, we've actually got pallets of cargo. So you can see there's a bunch of boxes in there, maybe some vegetables, I don't know what sort of cargo plane we are. We can also arm the left door, we just don't need that anymore. And we can do the sort of pre-flight checklist now, so set our parking brake and all that stuff. There we go. And we can turn on the seatbelt signs that we for some reason have. And we'll go ahead and plan our takeoff now. So flaps 15, I should think. I'm thinking we're going to do a D rate of 1. That's what I like doing, and good. It hasn't told me anything. I think it was out of Verona. I wanted to do a D rate of 1 off camera, and it didn't let me because of the climb gradient, but this one's okay. However, we're not being given V speeds. What's up with that? Now, sometimes this does happen where the game doesn't give you V speeds. We're not too heavy because we're not heavy, but that's a bit weird. Do I need to set full power takeoff? No. Okay, we'll select, so it's 60 for long runway, so we'll set like 55 on the flex temp. Oh, there we go. It wanted a derated climb, I think. If I set the climb back to here, look. Oh, no, it's okay now. Oh, it's because the IRS is aligned. Maybe they needed to be aligned. So yeah, I changed it to 40. I'm not sure how you calculate flex temp really. I'm not very good with it. But on a long runway, basically, you enter in what your flex temp is. I don't really know exactly how to calculate it. I don't know. Personally, I'm going to leave all this. I'd like to do a D rate of 1 on the climb. V speeds are actually very low today, 142. We could potentially do a flaps 5 departure on that. 149, yeah, let's do a flaps 5 departure then, because 149 is closer to the typical takeoff speed for this thing. And if we can do a flaps 5 takeoff, it's a lot easier to take off anyway, because we've got less flaps to retract then. We can now activate traffic and weather, because our TCAS, no, not our TCAS, our IRS, our ADIRS has aligned. Go ahead and arm the emergency lights. And everything else is ready now until we need to flick the APU on. We can't set the trim just yet, I don't believe. Nope, trim doesn't work. We need to fire up the plane for that. So everything's all good then. We just need to get everything fired. We need to get the hydraulics working before we can set the trim, basically. And the beacon. We don't need the beacon right yet. So we'll keep the checklist page open to remind me to finish the trim, so I'll just untick it here. And alt brake RTO. We are currently, there's 2 planes on the ground, one's just landed from Washington. There is actually a German air traffic controller online today, Langen Radar. They don't show up on my VATSpy because their sector name used to be EDFF, it's now EDGG, so they don't show up on VATSpy. But yeah, they're online. They haven't got an estimated log-off time, but that'd be nice if we could have some Langen radar. At least a little bit of on. I know we're passing through Langen radar because one of our waypoints is Ataba, which we passed on our flight into Innsbruck a few weeks ago now. Looks like they've almost finished loading up our cargo. They've loaded up the back half, and we can also shut the. We can shut that little cargo door there because they don't use it, and we can also shut cargo, the back cargo door because they're all loaded. Front cargo door is almost finished loading as well. However, we are still waiting. Obviously, this cargo does take a lot longer to load because it has to go higher on the loader. So we'll have to just, we can just sit back and watch everything going on. We don't need to report on Unicom, there is actually nothing really approaching Amsterdam. I don't believe. Nope, nothing approaching Amsterdam, so we're all good to go. Winds, obviously, yeah, it's a little bit rainy down here in Schiphol today. It's not the nicest of weather. It's currently 16 degrees, but down in Verona, it's a lot nicer. It's 340 at 3 knots, QNH 1017. It's 24 degrees down there. We've got a few clouds at 7,000, but not bad. Here in Amsterdam, we have overcast at 1,000. So we're going to have pretty much quite low-level cloud, thick, immediately after takeoff. We can go ahead and shut the front cargo door, and since they've almost finished, we can go ahead and start the APU. Once that's started, we'll get the hydraulics on as well. And then we can set the trim, because they are almost finished. Apparently there's something on our FMC we need to look at, is there? Oh, I didn't load in my descent. That's what it is. I did not load in my descent. Right, transition level here is 3,000 in Schiphol. It's very low transition altitude. And then, yeah, so just let descent forecast will load it there, and it should just put it all in for us. Once there we go. Everything's all in there. Perfect. We now know what our descent profile, what our descent for the forecast is. So looking at our departure, it's straight out. It's going to be a left turn pretty much immediately after we depart. So we'll have to follow that. It's not too sharp a turn. There's been sharper ones, that's for certain. So we're going to push back to the left. We're on the pushback now. Once boarding's completed, they'll do that. Right, is the APU running yet? It's taking its time, our little APU. There it is, APU running. So that's good. That means we don't need the pressure in the system for the APU anymore. So we can go ahead and click auto on this hydraulic pump and let it flow through the system. And then we can do all the others. There we go. Perfect. And this means now we can set our trim to 3. Was it 3 or 3.25? There we go, 3.25. Perfect, and we can get the beacon light on since we are planning to start our engines pretty much immediately now. Once the ground crew finished, we can click normal, and that'll put us onto the before taxi checklist. We could just do that now because there's nothing really special about that checklist. We don't need anti-ice or anything like that. And everything's all ready to go. 100% on the cargo apparently. Yep. So just one last little piece of cargo. Eurocontrol West have come online. That's the Eurocontrol that covers France and Spain, unfortunately. So today would have been a pretty good day to be doing some flying down to Palma or somewhere like that. But oh well, it's what we've chosen to do. We're in the 777. We're actually, unfortunately, we are actually flying down to Spain tomorrow. So if I just swapped them, then that would have been a bit better maybe. But yeah, we're flying down to Barcelona tomorrow in the 777 passenger version. Right, we'll go ahead and shut the main cargo door, and this can just go out here. I think all the doors are shut now. Great, they can just sit there now. Get our views outside configured, look at that. And, well, there's no need to report on Amsterdam traffic, there's nothing here, so we can just go. Pushback tractor's going to push itself up to us, we can turn on the TCAS ready. And yeah, we're all ready to depart now. Strobe lights can come on. And the fuel pumps can come on as well, ready for engine start. And those pumps can come on.
Hello, Captain. We're ready.
And we can also get rid of all the ground things that we've had on. There we go. Cool, we are now totally disconnected from the ground and ready for departure. I don't know why it's saying engine shut down. It says that. It's because we haven't started the engines yet, but they're ready to start, I think.
Locking gear.
So yeah, there's the pushback tractor. We're going to push back to the left and then continue along Alpha, I think. No, it's Romeo, and then Romeo turns into Bravo. So yeah, we'll taxi down Romeo, Bravo, it's runway 24, and from there we can make our departure. Eurocontrol Maastricht has just come online, which is the one that covers the Netherlands, which is great. Obviously it is Eurocontrol, so we're going to have full ATC today in the air. Obviously Eurocontrol only cover above flight level 245, so we can't contact them just yet, even though they're online above us. Right, start, and we'll plug in the fuel because it's an auto start system. And I don't know what this, honestly, there's like a bug with GSX, it like jitters around with the plane when it's being tugged. Heading is 238, I don't know what it is, it's like a bug with pushing this plane. It like makes the camera judder inside, it's weird. And we can start the left engine as well. That's all our engines power themselves. It's because the brakes keep applying, look, that's what it is. I don't know why the brakes keep applying, that's the bit that annoys me. Obviously the brakes are applying. I think what it is, that the way that GSX must push the aircraft must cause some like problems, like interferences with the aircraft. What if I try disabling the auto brakes? Does that help? No. So it's not the auto brakes interfering then. I don't know, the rudder pedals also got weird look. So I think there might be a slight bug with the controls when we're being pushed back, possibly. Because it's not normal. But it always happens with this plane. Right, engines are pretty much fully started. Which is is nice. Engines are all good and ready to go. Which means we can turn off our APU now. Right, GSX can stop our pushback here. Don't need to go any further. Yes, they've started why are they starting dragging us forward? Hello? They dragged us forward then.
Confirmation for good engine start.
Good engine start. And we can... Now we won't bother flicking anything else on yet. So yeah, we'll just let them disconnect us. APU's cooling down, everything's all ready for departure now. And we can set our flaps to 5. I know I would normally do a flaps 15, but we're not very heavy today, so... May as well do a flaps 5, obviously less to retract afterwards. I should be able to see on Vatsim shortly. Yep, Maastricht's Eurocontrol are going to cover us all the way until the Italian border, so that'll be lovely. And of course we've got Germany as well, but they're only above flight level 245. There are actually now 3 planes on the ground in Schiphol, so I'll have to be controlling using... I'll have to control using Unicom for a little bit. I'll have to do voice Unicom. Obviously, if there are other planes on the ground, it is a good idea to advise them of what you're doing, even if they've just spawned in. They might not even be on Unicom, but it's just a good idea. APU does seem to take quite a while to cool down in this aircraft, I've noticed. But there we go. Right, away we taxi. You just told me I was good, GSX. Schiphol traffic, Skyway 7552. Taxiing Romeo and Bravo to holding point Sierra 7 runway 24. Schiphol traffic. Alright, away we go. And yeah, it's going to be pretty long, just straight taxi, because this is the runway we're going to be taking off. But that's the 06 end of it. We're going right down to the 24 end, way down there. So we can get our taxi lights turned on now as well, and we're just going to do a nice, slow, relaxing taxi the whole way down. For once, this Amsterdam scenery is actually in the right place. It's quite rare for the FSX default. This isn't default scenery. It's one of the default sceneries that's been modified to be made up to date. So it's not default, but it's not like a proper scenery. It is. Why are we getting a hydraulic pressure warning? There we go. I don't know what that was about. I just flicked them off and on again, and hopefully that's going to fix that. That's a bit odd. I set it up exactly the same way as I always do, so that's a little bit odd if we are having some problems. I think it's okay though. I mean, I think there is a maintenance system on this thing, but I don't think things just randomly fail, do they? Maybe they do. I don't know, I thought they were okay with that, I don't know.
Schiphol traffic, KLM 901 Hotel, pushing back and start from gate Charlie 18 onto taxiway Alpha.
So yeah, one of the KLMs is actually pushing back, so even though they've just connected, I guess they're pretty much immediately ready to leave then, aren't they? That's what that is. In fact, my FPS has just taken a dive. And it's like this in Schiphol. Some airports at the airport, like the default scenery, seem to lag out PCs a lot, and other parts just don't. I don't know what that's about. I think it's because of the high AI traffic volume you get, but there's no AI currently. Honestly, you should see Schiphol when you load in AI. It's an absolute mess. It's so busy. It's just nuts, and the AI can't cope with it either. Like, the traffic in Schiphol Airport is just a mess in this game. Like, they get stuck trying to cross runways, trying to take off. It's just like, oh, because it's so busy, and obviously FSX ATC is rubbish when it comes to managing AI properly. Right, we're taxiing up to the runway, so we can turn on our landing lights on our runway turn off, so we can turn off our taxi lights. As there is our holding point, we're going to use that one there. I've got the chart for the SID set up now. Obviously, as soon as we pass flight level 245, we should get contacted by Maastricht Eurocontrol 13545. So, just pre-tune that frequency now. 13545, there we go. It's meant to be about an hour and 15 minutes flight. I reckon more like an hour and 20 by the time we're done, because I have changed a few of the routes since I was given that. I had to change our start because the one we were given didn't match up with an ILS. And I had to change the SID because there wasn't the given SID, because that's why we couldn't use that runway. We couldn't even use the Polterbahn because there wasn't a SID available that went to a depot. But yeah, anyway, that's that. We'll go ahead and taxi onto the runway. And, well, everything's all set up, yeah? Everything's all good. Auto brakes, flaps, everything's all good. Passenger signs are on and all the lights are configured. So, initial power, start the clock, and takeoff power, which is a D rate of 1 today, is set. Airspeed's live. I didn't hear anything from RAAS Professional. Unfortunately, yeah, RAAS Professional does seem to be a little bit buggy. Like, it doesn't seem to activate for all runways. But never mind. V1. Rotate. I don't know why this plane announces V1 but not rotate. Who knows? And we're in the air. Positive rate gear up. Obviously, this thing's going to climb like an absolute monster now. Like it always does. And flaps 1. Hey, hope you're enjoying the stream in the chat. Right, going to make a little right turn out now to EH005, and then from there it's going to be a bit of a sharper left turn up to 220 knots, which is the maximum speed for this SID. Right, start to pitch the plane down a little bit now, after that sort of manic initial climb that it likes to do. Can't really see anything because it's so cloudy.
Schiphol traffic, KLM 91 Hotel.
There's transition altitude. Yes, it happens that early. And we can go ahead and get the autopilot in, and it should just follow its quite sharp turn round, hopefully. And flaps can go up for us. Obviously, it doesn't really matter just yet because we've still got a limitation of 220 knots. They can go off, the turn-offs, and we've actually broke through the clouds. They were very low cloud, so we've already broken through them. This thing's going to continue to do a pretty steep climb, I should imagine, considering we're limited to 220 knots on this turn. I don't know why they've got such a low transition altitude here at Amsterdam. It's a bit odd. Most airports have like 6,000 or 5,000, or if you're over in Australia, like 10,000, or obviously in the US it's 18,000. It's 3,000 here. I don't know why it's so low. Must be a reason. Anyway, yeah, up through 7,000. This thing is climbing like an absolute crazy thing. We're going to pass EH008 now. So we should be able. Actually, we might be able to go up to full airspeed because by the time we reach this waypoint, we'll already be above 10,000. It's nuts how this thing does its initial climb. And then obviously once passing flight level 250, we should get contacted by Maastricht Eurocontrol, and then we'll be on a short stint with German control before going back to Maastricht Eurocontrol today. I will just check, make sure have they got a requested log-off time. There's no indicated log-off time, so you can see the plane's trying to get us to go up to 250 knots, but we'll probably just be in, we'll probably just go above that straight away anyway. And there's 10,000 already. Landing lights can come off. It's nuts how quick this thing climbs. It's not like any other plane, the way it climbs. But, I mean, it gets us above the clouds nice and quickly, and that's with the D rate as well. That's what I find even more nuts. That was with the D rate takeoff. So, imagine what it's like with a full power takeoff. I've done a full power takeoff before, and it's so quick it just reaches. It's impossible to not break through 250 knots, honestly. Honestly, unless they were really heavy or had a really short runway, I see no reason why you'd do a full power takeoff in this thing. Like, in terms of normal operating procedures, like a flight like this, where it wasn't very long, but I mean, even full cargo is not heavy enough. You'd need to have full fuel, because this thing can take a lot of fuel, obviously. That's one thing I am forgetting. I've never flown this thing with low fuel. Obviously, this plane is designed for 10-hour flights, so it will take off a lot of the time, with obviously enough fuel, probably for 11 and a half, 12 hours of flight. On this flight, how much are we taking? We're taking 2 hours and 49 minutes of fuel, so it's nowhere near the amount that you'd take on a long haul. But anyway, yeah, so we're currently climbing through 140. I can get rid of all our charts now.
KLM 901 Hotel, lining up runway 24 into.
Cool. I don't believe no ATC, no planes even heading for Verona. My Sunni for Verona is not out of date, but the stands are in the wrong place, as in they face sideways rather than point to the terminal. I did search around for better scenery, but there wasn't any. I mean, it's only 2 years old, so, you know, generally you don't get much more modern than that when it comes to flight sim sceneries, apart from, like, I think it was the Dubai scenery was made in, like, February 2020. Like, that was pretty new. But that's rare, is my point. That's very rare. Oh, I just need to be right back. I'm back. I think it wasn't long, just need a quick break there. I'm passing flight level 240 now, actually, so perfect timing to be given a contact me by Maastricht Eurocontrol. I'm pretty sure we are going to be given Maastricht Eurocontrol, as we're not quite into Germany's airspace yet, so it is going to be Eurocontrol. In fact, no, it's not going to be Eurocontrol. It's going to be Frankfurt Control 13572. Okay. Langenradar, hello. Skyway 7552. with you passing flight level 270 for flight level 370.
Skyway 7552 long radar, hello, squawk 2060.
Squawk 2060, Skyway 7552.
Shamrock 698, continue descent altitude 3000 feet, QNH 1015.
Continue descent 3,000 feet, edge 1015. Shamrock 698.
Lufthansa 1452, contact Maastricht Euro, control frequency 135.45, bye bye. Lufthansa 1452.
So Lufthansa 1452 wasn't responding there. Rip. But we've just got 7,000 feet left to climb. I've set my squawk code, so...
Lufthansa 8, Uniform Victor on the box, Alpha 15.
8 Uniform Victor, thank you very much for flying.
Langen, schönen guten Tag, Easy 2 Lima. Ja, guten Morgen. Easy 2 Lima, Level 360 mount loader.
Well, we've just switched over to max speed, so this thing's just going to do a little rocket climb briefly there.
Proceed direct Atkov, Alpha Delta Kilo Uniform
We're
Victor.
going to 370 today.
Roger, direct active.
I'm going to stay in there the whole flight. Well, this plane
And Unicom 48.
thought we could have got to
Victor.
390,
Thank you for the 8
370 is obviously pretty
Bye-bye.
good.
Break, Shamrock 698, turn right, heading 160.
Right 160, Shamrock 600.
Skyway 7552, Langen radar identified passing flight level 324, climb flight level 370, proceed direct Utaba.
Climb flight level 370, proceed direct at Harbour, Skyway 7552. So yeah, like when we flew to Innsbruck, I've just been given a direct to Ataba, which is actually, I think, given us a little bit of a small little shortcut on our route. Not a massive one, but a small one. It's a shortcut right across Germany, 250 miles, which is quite nice, obviously. And then I think we'll get a bit of Maastricht Euro control in. Let's try and work out what to do about top of descent now, look. It's a bit confused. Hello, plane. It can't work out what to do after Bathtub. It's pretty confused. That's a bit worrying. Oh! I didn't plug in my arrival. Oops. It's an ILS. It's going to be an ILS 04. The IDREV 2 Juliet with the RIVEV transition. Execute that. You saw nothing. Oops. Well, there we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? That's probably why I didn't know what to do. That's my own fault. I didn't plug in.
Was doch so.
I didn't plug in the arrival. I just plugged in the departure and left it. Well, never mind. Obviously, you can plug in an arrival mid-route, so it doesn't really matter. You know, that's what you do on long-haul flights. You plug them in mid-route, so no matter. Just a little bit funny. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to get the star up now. Idrek to Juliet. There we go. And I'll get the airport and parking stands, although the parking stands are useless, and then ILS 04. We can only do an approach from 04. There's no charts for a runway 22 arrival. So that presumably means they do prefer using... in fact, the winds are actually going back in favour of runway 04 even more than previously, which is good. Well, there we go. Our route's actually plugged in now. We've got 300 miles at cruise. Quite a bit of ATC on the Vatsim network today over Europe. Stockholm control, full Euro control pretty much, and Germany control, so there's quite a bit online today actually. nice.
Shamrock 698, turn right, heading 270.
Right 270 from 600.
We're doing pretty good at the moment. 220 miles left to go to a Tarbert. Oh, I haven't turned the seatbelt signs off. There we go. I mean, not that it matters, honestly. I mean, I don't exactly know why we even have seatbelt signs. It's a cargo plane. I've said this 1,000 times now, but it doesn't make any sense, does it? Like, it's a cargo plane. What cargo plane needs, you know, it confuses me. What cargo plane, you know, needs needs that? It's just confusing. Right, we're going to plan mode now. And look at our
Shamrock
arrival.
698, continue your right turn, heading 290.
So our arrival is pretty straightforward. It does add a little bit of time onto the route, but it's pretty average, pretty straightforward, so fine. All fine. Runway length down in Verona, I believe, because I have been I took off there once to go to Stansted. Yeah, 10,000 foot runway, so longer than Edinburgh, so it's a pretty fair length runway. Really, anything above, you know, anything above 7,500, 8,000 feet is pretty suitable for a plane like this. On quite low fuel and low load, particularly today. We're not that heavy, are we? We only have a load level of 50%, so. So our arrival speeds. It's going to be 30 knots, 137. We can set our minimums now as well, actually. May as well, now we're up here. Cat 1 minimums. We are a Class D aircraft, I believe. I've actually discovered how to check what aircraft category you are. It says it in the remarks for sim brief. It says remarks.
Shamrock 698, turn left heading
It says
260.
UKV and then PER slash. I'm not sure what PER. It stands for something. And then D. And it says C for some aircraft. So there's an EasyJet in the air. Give you an example. And it says C. Like PER. I think it's like maybe performance. And then slash C. For us, performance slash D. So we're a Cat D aircraft. That solves me trying to wonder what we are. So 443, which is 223 feet above the ground, so pretty good. 443, there's no clouds below 7,000 either, so it's a pretty clear day, really. Right, just make sure I set the barrow, there we go. That scroll wheel method is weird. 443 on the barrow. And there we go, that's everything set and ready to go for the arrival. The arrival, I'm looking at it now. We head from Idrek into Rivev, max 210 knots at Rivev. Yeah. And then we jump on the ILS, which is 5,000 or above at Rivev, 4,000 or above at Givat, 3,000 at Ermob, 3,000 at Pevek, and then 9 miles, 9 DME from the airport, pretty much. Yeah, that looks all fine. That looks all cool. Alright, everything's all good then, to go. And we're going to be 180 knots at Pevek, that sounds about right. Don't want to come in too hot like we did in Edinburgh. We were a little bit quick, weren't we? But never mind. It's no problem. It was a bit of a rough landing, but there were no passengers, so, you know. And I got stopped in time, but I didn't overrun the runway, that's the important thing. I mean, that's the thing, hard landings are a pain. Running off into the runway
Roger,
is a
wind
no-no.
200 degrees, 12 knots, runway 23 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, 23 left, Sherlock 69.
We're like the only plane, I'm pretty much like one of the only planes in its airspace. I don't know what happened to the KLM that took off just before us. It's nowhere to be seen. I don't know whether it disconnected maybe, but it is nowhere to be seen. But yeah, just cruising over Germany. It's pretty quiet down there, really. Not too bad. No bad weather, no clouds. It's all pretty nice weather, really. If you look at it, it's not too bad, so that's nice. Weather could be a lot worse. That's for certain. And weather down in Verona could definitely be a lot worse. It's now no clouds at all, no clouds and 25 degrees. That is so nice, and it's winds directly north of 5 knots. So pretty calm wind, but honestly, it's a perfect day for flying over in Verona. It's great. Really nice weather. Oh, I meant to click checklist and I accidentally clicked the flight director button. That was my mistake. Okay, apparently I didn't do the before take. I didn't like activate the before takeoff checklist, which meant it. Now I think I didn't. Oh no, it does think I did it. Oh, checklist override then. There we go. That puts on his descent checklist, which we can actually do now. Really, I know we're not saying for a while, but we've basically done everything, haven't we? We've done our. Well, we also do a recall throughout the flight. Actually, where is the recall on this thing? That's the bit I was wondering. Is that's it there? Nothing. Yeah. And we've already done our landing. We've already done our landing data. So water brakes, we're probably going to do 2. So I'll set that in there now. And that's it, really. And the approach, I always like to mark the approach checklist as done because, well, it's not really much of a checklist. Altimeters. I mean, like, I remember to set them at transition altitude. I'm not sure what transition altitude is. It's got 6,000 plugged in. That's not accurate. Transition altitude is 6,000, so we'll keep it at that because I don't know what the transition level is. Because in a lot of airports in Europe, the transition level is set by ATC. So without ATC, there is no transition level. Maybe a slight problem for Fly Online, that, but I just like to use the transition altitude in that situation. Yeah, right now, this is probably one of the world's quietest Germany centres ever. It's just silence. You wouldn't even know we're on ATC, honestly.
Good morning, Spirit 610.
Oh, there we go.
370.
Speedbird 610, Langenradar, hello, identified.
Shamrock 69 vacated 23 left.
Shamrock 698, welcome to Düsseldorf, taxi to stand of choice.
Yes, stand of choice, Shamrock 69, thank you, sir.
Well, it's some very nice weather outside. It's actually, I don't know, yeah, as I said, it's probably one of the quietest ATC centres I've heard in ages. We're going to go on to Eurocontrol, but only very shortly. We're going to be over to probably Eurocontrol over Switzerland, but only Switzerland, and then from there, no more. So, in fact, we might actually be descending while we're over Italy. I don't know. We cross into Italy from Austria. No, not going through Switzerland. Austria. We're going through Austria at Nattag. That's what. So after Nattag, we'll have no further ATC. So we will be descending there. So descent will be with. So we're pretty much getting the most ATC we can today, unless Italian control decides to go online. We've got a plane down there on our screen. Who's that? I think that might be a KLM. Actually, no, it's not a it is a KLM. No, it's an EasyJet. That's an EasyJet. That's definitely, I think that's EasyJet 22 Lima going from Vienna to Luton at 36,000. Yeah, that adds up. It currently looks a lot further away though on the map. I don't know what that's about. It's only apparently 20 miles away from us. Well, 30 actually, about 30 miles. We're not going to be crossing it at all. Looks quite nice outside, really. God, look, I do like this Fly UK cargo livery though. It's nice. So we're going to be flying the Crystal livery tomorrow because we're doing some passenger operations. Flying from Heathrow down to Barcelona. So that should be nice. Maybe we'll get some ATC down Heathrow as well. If it's like today, maybe some Eurocontrol as well. Who knows? Now, the problem with Gatwick UK2000 Siri has actually come back. I was doing a flight with it and it started flickering again. So, I don't really know what I'm going to do about that. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do about Gatwick. Because I do quite like the airport. And the default scenery is in the wrong place. So I think I'm going to stick with UK2000 and just ignore the flickering. It's a bit odd really, because I uninstalled it fully
6 Hotel Tango with you.
and installed it and it was fine.
Request clearance to Munich, information Bravo on
I mean, it
board.
was silly.
Lufthansa 6 Hotel
yeah.
Tango Langrada, hello, this is the only way it will work. Information Bravo is current startup approved, clear to München via the Cola 5 Tango departure, flight planned route, climb 5,000 feet, squawk 1,000.
Squawk 1000, Cola 5 Tango, and confirm that's out of the 2-3 right or 2-3 left?
2-3 left.
2-3 left. Can we get 2-3 right?
Affirm.
Sorry, no. 2-3 left is perfect, sorry.
Alright, okay, cool. In that case, read back.
Super, okay, Cola 5 Tango, 23 left and squawk 1000. Lufthansa 6 Hotel Tango.
Prepare correct, break, KLM 906 Alpha Mike, no further ATC, monitor Unicom 122 less simulate, bye bye.
1228 for KLM 96 Alpha Mike, thank you very much, cheers.
Yeah, it's nice.
Flight radar, good morning. Extended
86.
620, flight level 350, direct.
Quite common you get
620 Langradar, hello, identified,
Get that
level
on,
350. Confirm you're wishing to climb flight level 390.
I think our flight planners are a little optimistic, so we'd prefer 35 at the minute, please.
No worries.
Yeah, there's always some nice ATC above Germany. It's quite common to get it. And obviously it's nice we've got so much Eurocontrol online today. Yeah, I don't know, Germany and the UK are always like the hotspots, I think, for ATC. It's nice. We're actually only 80 miles from Otava. That came quickly. I was just looking now, I was like, what? That means we're not far from descent. So yeah, it's actually quite a short flight, this one.
Thank you for flying, bye bye.
But yeah. Got quite a nice tailwind going on as well. It's only about 30 knots, but better than nothing. We're actually about 508 knots, so this thing is pretty quick. Especially considering we run the cost index of 90. For this plane, in accordance with Fly UK. That's what we use. Cost index 90. As high as it is. So yeah, the cargo capacity of this thing is 102,500 kilos. And we're taking half that. We're taking 53,400 kilos today.
Lufthansa 6 Hotel Tango, request push and start.
Lufthansa 6 Hotel Tango, push back approved, face north.
Pushback approved, face north. 6 Hotel Tango.
Right, it's all pretty good. So yeah, after Otava we handed off to Maastricht Eurocontrol for a brief amount of time. Probably just, you know, all these waypoints. And then once we pass Natag, then we're on to Unicom, because there is no ATC for us over in Italy. We're down in Verona is now 080 at 7 knots. So it's picked up a little bit, it's still variable, but it's still perfect for a runway 04. So I would rather a 04, as if we didn't use a 04, they haven't actually got any runway 22 approaches. There's no VOR,
Ich glaube, das
no
ist nicht mehr
nothing.
durchgekommen. Contact Maastricht Eurocontrol 13545. Ciao, ciao.
13545, easy to Lima, Dankeschön, schönen Tag noch.
In fact, actually, I'm going to have a look now at the airports. The airport should have some briefings. Here you go, arrival briefing. So it should say somewhere around here. Airport briefing. Here you go. Runway operations. Runway 04 will be used as a preferential runway. So 04 should be used.
Berlin 381 Langradar, hello, clear to hearing.
Yes, it's going to be 04 today.
Departure, flight, planned route, climb 5,000 feet, squawk 2061.
So yeah, for some reason, Verona only seems to use one runway direction.
FSX 8 Foxtrot departure route initial climb is 5,000 feet at squawk 2061.
Everything 381, is that correct?
I believe 381 we will be ready for pushback.
Everything 381, pushback approved.
Wait, is someone doing Berlin?
Push
Whoa,
approved,
they are.
381.
That's kind of nice. That's what I like about flight sim in as well with Vatsims, like, you know, airlines like Monarch, Thomas Cook, Flybe, Air Berlin, you can still fly them in a flight sim, you know, they're not there in the real life. You know, they're not there anymore, sadly, but you can still really that they're there. I don't tend to do that, I don't tend to fly. I should have done the Flybe farewell flight, really. I did that with Thomas Cook, didn't I? But I never got round to it with Flybe. And I was late with the Thomas Cook one, honestly. There we go. But yeah, in about 45 miles, we'll be handed off to Maastricht Eurocontrol on 13545, which is plugged in there. And then after that, it'll be Unicom. Because Italian control is quite rare. It tends to be more in the evenings. I think they're quite late night. That's in Italy. All the events they run start at like 8 or 7 and don't finish until like 10. Which is even later than some of the other evening events that places do, so maybe they're just more into doing it in the evenings a bit later on, like the Vatsim. We're only been here 35 minutes, pretty nuts, really. And we're looking at descending quite soon. It is quite a short flight, this, really. I think I do kind of forget that. Obviously it wasn't meant to be that short, it just ended up being because of, well, how the flight is. I mean, the flight will end up being, I think, a little bit longer than an hour and 20, no, an hour and 15. I think it'll be more like an hour and 20 by the time we're done. But yeah. Yeah, it's quite a quiet ATC centre today, really, isn't it? I mean, there's been the odd bit of talking, but not much.
Now, 8 Hotel Tango request taxi.
Now it's time to look to see if there's any other fly caves on the network. I always like doing this.
Left via Tango Papa 1, Mike, Lima 2.
I don't know why, but I always like looking if there's more than one Skyways.
Tango Papa 1, Mike,
yeah, there's
Lima
quite there's quite a lot, actually.
Lufthansa 6 Tango.
Bergen to Oslo, London to Paris, Vienna to Hong Kong, Exeter to Malaga, Gibraltar to Ibiza, Edinburgh to Kristiansand. There's a lot, which is what I like. It's nice to see, I think.
Air Berlin 381 is ready to taxi.
Yeah, Berlin 381 taxi to holding point runway 14 left via Mike and Alpha 7.
Taxi to holding point 14 left via Mike and Alpha 7, Air Berlin 381.
Right, I think we're going to be handed off to Maastricht Eurocontrol now, in a little short time, not long now. Because I believe their control zone ends at Ataba. It flicks over to Munich control at Ataba, and obviously Munich control are offline, so we'll get Maastricht through Munich and Austria, and then obviously down in Italy there's no ATC, and it's, I think, Eurocontrol East cover Italy. There's 3 Eurocontrols. There's Eurocontrol Maastricht.
7552, contact Maastricht Eurocontrol 135.45, goodbye.
135.45. Thanks for ATC for Skyway 7552. And we'll just preach in Unicom now as well. Eurocontrol, hello, Skyway 7552 with you, flight level 370, inbound Ataba.
Hello, Skyway 7552 Maastricht identified.
Here we go.
Good morning, Eurocontrol. Transavia 76 Hotel Echo, inbound number.
Good morning, Transavia 76 Hotel Echo Maastricht identified.
So we're on Maastricht control now. Well, they'll be with us now until Nateb, was it? No, Natag. Which is actually before we start our descent. No, after we start our descent. So we will be requesting descent from this controller. I don't think we're going to get given a direct or anything like that, but never mind. It's pretty much a direct route anyway, honestly, apart from this small little turn. I don't think, again, our shortcut to Ataba didn't really give us much of a shortcut. It's just nice to have, really. It saves a little bit of time. It's easier. It's nice, we've got some pretty decent ATC going today. Quite a large amount of ATC, really, considering the time of morning.
Maastricht against Viva 610. That was Viva 610 Maastricht identified.
Maastricht Relay, hello again, Spirit 620350 coming.
Viva 620 Maastricht, hello again, identified.
We're going to Batub now. It's all sort of on our route round to Verona. Everything's all plugged in for our route in Verona apart from the pressure we're going to set. But I like to do that in the descent because it sometimes gets deleted if you wait too long. I've found, or at least it appears to. So I will wait. It's 26 degrees currently in Verona, no clouds. Such a nice day. 7 knot winds. So the wind's picked up a little bit. We should get some new weather in around about 20 minutes for Verona. Should be the next lot of weather, so that'll probably be the weather we use to land. Obviously, even if the weather does pick up slightly towards the runway 22, as long as it's under like 10 knots, we should still use runway 04 because it's the preferential runway down in Verona. But if it's generally, that's the rule generally. I think some airports it's 5 knots. It doesn't specifically specify. I'd say 10 knots personally for this one because of the fact that runway 22 literally has no. It has 0 approaches. In fact, it doesn't even have stars. Does it have stars? No. I'm amazed.
Hello again, Cafe 9022.
No, runway 22 doesn't even have stars, so they must always use 04. They must never use a different runway for
Device
that.
145, contact your control west frequency 135.25, bye-bye.
125, provided that's 125.
Actually, German centres has come offline, so that was lucky for us.
Cafe 9022 first, when ready, pilot discretion, descend flight level 250 to be level by Delta Kilo Bravo, at an approved report back. When ready, descend flight level 250, level by Delta Kilo Bravo.
When did we send to flight level 250 before Delta Kilo Bravo?
Good morning, Polish Air Force 105. Request clearance to Warsaw from Vienna, Polish Air Force 105.
Station calling me for clearance. I only control the metal part of Europe above flight level 245.
So yeah, someone there thinking Eurocontrol controls things on the ground. Obviously they don't.
Polish Air Force 105, do you control Vienna?
As I said, I only control flight level 245 and above, so I do not provide any clearances.
Polish Air Force 105, Roger, thanks.
It took 2 tries, we got there. But it doesn't provide any cliffs. In fact, our plane is just tuned the localizer. Remember, it's under 50 miles to total descent. That's maybe why it did it. But I can see that 11175. Frequency is correct, and 044. Yeah, it's plugged it in correctly, so that's good. We must do it 50 miles before descent then, because we just hit that. Which is when we start getting ready for descent, I guess, isn't it really? 50 miles before. The Aerosoft Airbus checklist does it 40 miles before, but it's somewhere just short of descent is when you should start descending. And we'll request descent from this controller, obviously, and by the time we actually get handed off the Unicorn, it probably won't be because of altitude. It'll probably be because of, we've left their airspace, most likely. We're descending pretty much, I'd say, what, 141 miles out? From 37,000 feet, that's pretty average, pretty good. It's to be expected, so that's all fine. Obviously, very nice weather down in Verona. We should get some new weather in about 15 minutes' time.
Cafe 922, we are back to the copy.
Awesome.
Yeah, just under 40 miles to descent now. When we're about 10 miles from descent, I will request clearance to descend. We're descending pretty shortly down into the lovely Italian city of Verona, where we're going to drop off all our cargo back here. I don't know exactly what we're taking, but you know, we're taking somewhere. With this beautiful 777. We're flying it again tomorrow, 8:30 BST, same time. We're flying the wonderful 777 passenger variant. I haven't, surprisingly, I've done a number of flights in this plane now, and I've never actually flown the passenger variant. Maybe a bit surprising, that. I've spent way too many hours on flight sim. Use Flash.
Control, wonderful morning, because I have 6916.
In the last few hours, honestly, in the last few days, I have spent a lot of time on it.
Hello, Transavia 6916, Maastricht identified.
Yeah.
Transavia 6916, proceed direct waypoint Soral.
Zit het dus zo al, Transavia 6916?
Cathay 922, you're short leaving my airspace, nothing further, Unicom 122, decimal ikke på vej. Cheers.
Yeah, we'll request descent pretty shortly now. It's just 20 miles until our descent. A little FMC message pops up then, I think. What on earth? What's that flickering? It says FMC message. What? Oh, reset MCP altitude. We've still got 15 miles yet, plane.
Hello again, Speedbird 699 Whiskey review at flight level 350.
Hello again, Speedbird 699 Whiskey, Maastricht, recycle your transponder to 0304.
0304 Speedbird 699 Whiskey.
Right, there we go. So we're now at 13 miles. When that says 10, we'll go ahead and request descent clearance.
792 with you passing 8,000 feet. Caution 18, flight level 180.
Hello, Gammajet 792 Maastricht. I correction recycle your transponder, squawk 1000.
Squawk 1000 kilometers. Correction. Will is up 792.
Skyway 7, 552, you're short, leaving my airspace, nothing further, Unicom 122.8.
122.8, thanks for ATC for Skyway 7552. Well, there we go, I just about request descent by exact second, and then we got handed off anyway to Unicom, so it's a little bit early because his airspace doesn't end until NATAG, but I guess why not? In terms of, we can just go right down to 5,000, that's our initial, that's our first restriction altitude, so all the way down to 5,000 when ready, which is shortly actually, in a few miles. No need to report anything on Unicom. Verona, I think, is quite a quiet airport on Vatsim. There's not really any traffic that goes in or out of it. There's literally nothing heading in and out today. So, yeah, this thing's going to start its descent. Or is it? Why is it going so slowly? It's already lost 200 feet. Anyway, I don't know, it was a bit slow to start its descent there, this plane, but it's got the hang of it eventually. Down we go. Although we're 300 feet too high, so the plane needs to step on it a little bit. I think we're catching back up now with our descent path. Now it's just doing like 3,500 feet per minute to try and catch up, and I think we're successfully doing it. But yeah, down we go. Bit of a steep descent by the looks of it there, and at least initial descent's quite steep. Yeah, I didn't mind being handled off by Unicom, to Unicom at that point though, because we're already descending. There you go, we've descended like 4,000 feet like a rocket, and finally I think we have actually caught up with our set descent path now, passing 32,000. There are a few mountains obviously to cross, the Alps. This is what I like flying into Italy. We haven't flown into Turin for ages, that's one of my favourites, because Turin is so close to the Alps. The final approach, like just, the approach before you come in, is so nice because you're like descending through mountains. It's quite nice. But I haven't flown there for absolutely ages, so maybe we should do another flight there in a few weeks possibly. After Lawler, there's quite a long gap to the next waypoint. And then at Idrek, that's where we start our star, and then we've got really close waypoints to Idrek. Because our star basically takes us past the airport, and then we sort of just loop round to land, a bit like what we did at Krakow a few months back now. Ages ago we flew into Krakow, wasn't it? Absolutely ages. I may as well set the altimeter we're going to set at 6,000 now, which is 1017, pre-tune it. Well, not tune, preset. There we go, 1017. And there we go, so everything's all set up, our landing speeds and everything are all ready to go. We've almost descended 10,000 feet already, so we've done a pretty quick job of descending. We've only got 110 miles left to go. Direct to 80, but we're not going direct, obviously we are flying sort of around the airport first. Obviously that's just how the procedure works. No speed restrictions until below 10,000, then 210 knots at rev, which is the start of the ILS. almost. It's like the start of the ILS transition anyway. Right, starting to descend pretty good. I'm just looking at the missed approach procedure. Pretty simple. Just missed approach altitude of 3,000. I'm going to set this down to 40 nautical mile now because I can start to see all our arrival waypoints popping up, and they obviously do cluster up the screen quite a bit. Our contrail's no longer there. There's the remnant of it over there. You can see it. I mean, we are still getting a pretty good descent through the mountains, to be fair. Maybe not quite as good as Turin, but actually by the time we get lower, maybe it will be as good as Turin. In fact, I think we should turn on the terrain radar. That does mean we'll have to make way for the weather radar, but there's no weather, so it doesn't really matter, because this will give us the altitudes of the terrain in the area. By the looks of it, it's about 13,000 feet, so no issues at the moment. I just want to make sure, obviously, you know, if we're descending through mountainous terrain, it's always a good idea to have a terrain radar on hand. It's just a smart idea. Especially considering by the time we get to Moville, we are actually going to be at 13,000 feet, so we want to make sure we don't get in the way of any of it. You know, because obviously, yeah, we are getting increasingly lower, and as we get closer to the terrain, it might become a problem, but yeah. And I think the mountains end by the time we pass Moville, though. I'm looking at the, there's no terrain, because it's a star chart that doesn't support moving maps. It's one of the plain ones. Now apparently, from PX421, we could be given a restriction. No, from PX422, we could be a restriction if there was ATC. There could be a restriction of 3,000, but obviously there's no ATC, so there's no problem with that. Absolutely no ATC today. Also, I discovered a new way to do smooth landings in the Aerosoft Airbus. I don't think it'll work with the Boeings because they're controlled by yokes. I think it's just because of, but basically you push the nose down and then force the plane up at the last minute to flare. Then it gets a pretty good landing. I've done 2 of those now, and both of them. I took part in the Hungary night and Black Sea West night last night, and it was great fun. Went from Budapest to Krakow. No, what am I on about? To Sofia. That was great fun. Was it Hungary to Bulgaria? They called it Hungry Friday. Because it's like Hungry Online or a Friday, but it's like Hungry Friday, like eat loads. I don't know. Luckily, the weather's really nice. We get a nice look at these mountains. It's nice to get a look at them. As we pass 19,000 feet, you can see the terrain is still at about 11,000, so by the time we reach Idrek, the terrain could be quite close to us. However, I think the terrain after Moville, the terrain does actually clear out, so we can get rid of the terrain radar and I'll bring back up the weather one. Because I think we're okay in terms of weather. Not weather, I mean terrain. We're also okay in terms of weather. There might be some new weather for Verona. No, not yet. The 950 weather, the 950 Meta, 950 local, 850 Zulu. That was 10 minutes ago, but it hasn't come through yet. be nice to have that weather so we know what's going on before we actually land. So there's pretty much no clouds. It's just things like, the most important thing is obviously the QNH. That is pretty much the most important thing that we need to know that changes. And obviously if the wind's changed now, I'm not changing my runway. Even if the wind's changed earlier in flight, I'd probably still use 04 because it's just preferred. Down in Verona, it's advised that you use runway 04. They don't like using 22. There's no ILS, there's no VOR, there's no nothing. For 22 there are no approaches, there's no stars. So it's definitely advised that you use 04. It makes you wonder why they've done that. It must be like a terrain thing maybe, but you can basically only approach from 04. You can't do a 22. There's no circle to land either mentioned in the chart, so there's nothing mentioning anything about 22. So it's quite weird. But yeah, luckily the winds agree with us today, so we don't have to do a... I mean, a tailwind landing's not too bad, it's a crosswind landing that's worse. But obviously it'll be a crosswind on either runway. That's how crosswinds work. Passing 14,000 feet here. I can put us down to 20 nautical mile range now because I'm starting to see plenty of waypoints. This hill here, I don't know how tall that terrain is, but it's looking a little bit close. I think it'll be okay though. In fact, we're actually going to be slightly turning to almost like avoid it. But I think we're good. The terrain, I think the terrain's at about 10,000 feet there. And we should be good with that. Passing 12,000 right now. We can get our seatbelt signs turned on. Again, for who, I have no idea. I'm not sure who needs to know that they need to sit down. We'll employ a bit of speed brakes. We're going too quickly. I have a look at this plane. It's far too easy to go quickly in this plane. It's a very quick plane when it comes to descending. It likes to be quick. It doesn't like to lose airspeed, so I have to watch it, basically. There we go, we're slowing down to 250 knots now. This is one of the important sort of slow down stages. If we can meet this, it's obviously a lot easier to slow down later. So down we go. Obviously this thing does have it built into its descent path, which is obviously nice. All the planes do that. They have a little area built into their descent path to allow slowing to 250 knots. Or 240 as the Boeing planes like to do. Make sure it's a little bit under. Give ourselves a little bit of room then for overspeeding. Right, there is 240. Bring back the speed brakes and this thing can hopefully continue with its flying now. You can see that we've left the hill behind. And we're over in Italy now, where there's, in fact that's our airport down there, I think. Upon landing we're going to be taxiing to probably stand, these are the only ones that are in the right place, so probably stand 1-4. As that's where the cargo ramp area is. There is also a military apron as well, but that's, well, military kind of says that, doesn't it? In fact, this thing's trying to pick up speed now. There's 10,000, we can get the line lights on. You know what, we might make an hour and 15 minutes here. We've only got 40 miles. And we've got 12 minutes. I mean, 40 miles isn't much to cover in a plane like this, so... Set the heading line. No ATC, obviously. Nothing even approaching Verona, so we're all good. We're definitely good. That's in 9,000. We need to be above 5,000 at Rivev. So at the moment it's just doing quite a slow descent, then above 4,000, then above whatever, like that. There's our airport, you can see there. Off to the left. So we're going to land on 04, and then that's like military parking over there. We're going to be parking, as you can see, the stands are meant to be against the terminal. They're like arranged, but we're going to park somewhere around there. And that's where all the cargo ramps and things are. So passing 8,000 feet now, just 3,000 left. And then we're at sort of the start of the ILS altitude. We're going to start to slow down as well. There's our little descent path point down to 210 knots. I can get rid of the star chart since it doesn't support moving maps. We'll go straight over to the ILS chart, which actually covers where we are now anyway. We're approaching 6,000. We should have had some new weather through now. We have QNH is 1018. And 26 degrees, wind 090 at 5 knots, so it's actually calmed down a little bit. It might be getting towards a crosswind, but it's variable at 5 knots. And as you can see right now, that's not even true. There is no wind. There's no wind. If the wind is calmer than like 5 knots, I think, it doesn't show up there. Or maybe it's calmer than like 3 knots, but whatever it is, it doesn't show up there. Under the ground speed is where it will pop up. So that means we've got some very nice calm weather today, which is perfect for flying, really, especially a big bird like this. And down to 210 knots. I'm going to take manual control of the speed now, actually, before this plane tries to take us down to 210 knots, because I know how much of a pain this thing is to slow down. I don't want to be coming in too hot today. And then 200 knots at Givat, and then we'll probably do like a final descent, like a final slowdown then after that. It's going to be a flaps 30 arrival, so full flaps. And there's transition altitude. We can set the QNH, that put it slightly too high, that will. However, we'll catch back up with that pretty quickly. QNH 1018. And we'll drop it to 200 knots now for Givat, which is the next waypoint after the turn. Obviously, the slower we are in the turn, kind of the better, really. Allows us to turn a lot easier and be on course with the ILS. We're just about past 5,000 now, so we can put us down to 4,000, and then 3,000 will be the final altitude we put it down to. After Givat, we can actually activate the approach, and it should follow the ILS. Okay. Right, there's 200 knots. This thing has stopped descending suddenly. That's because we passed a waypoint, I think. Because I've got to watch, because obviously what happened in Edinburgh, we got stuck at 4,000 because the plane wanted to slow down, and then while trying to descend again, I ended up going too quickly. So to avoid that happening, just need to make sure we don't stall at a particular altitude when we're not supposed to. Got to keep an eye on this plane you have. And yeah, max 200 knots at give at, so we'll set 190 knots now in there. And we'll set 3,000, that'll be good enough for approach then. As we are just, well, actually we're still 20 miles out, so it's quite a long approach path, this. I mean, maybe I could have guessed from the altitude that it would be a pretty long approach path. But the glide slope starts at Ermob, I think. That's where the actual ILS procedure pretty much starts. Give at and Rivev are part of the transition onto the ILS. I'm going to make a left turn here at Give at. If the plane decides to follow the left turn, that is. Hello. There we go, it's making the left turn now. So it took a bit of time. We can actually put in... We can put in flaps 5, I think. We'll do that now. You can hear the flaps coming out. And just get ourselves on 3,000 a little bit better. We need to be above 3,000 at Umbel and at 3,000 at Pevek. Pevek will be at 180 knots. So after we pass Ermob, we'll reduce the speed further. And then probably 160 knots then until final approach speed. Final approach speed today is 137. I can only just have the field in sight really because of how far out this approach is being made. We might not make an hour and 15 minutes now. I think it might be slightly longer than that. We're 14 miles away, so still not quite time to get set for landing. We can arm the speed brakes now, ready for landing. Probably don't need to go much further. And I'll slow it to 180 knots now, ready for Pevek. Maintaining a pretty good speed here. After Pevek, I'll probably drop it to 160 knots then. And we can also arm the approach now. Could have done that a little bit earlier actually, and then the game, hopefully our plane, it's not actually picking up the localizer DME, so we're maybe a little bit far out, possibly, but as you can see it doesn't even know the distance. The frequency is correct, 11175/044, that part of it is correct, so I don't know why we're not picking it up, because we're 10 miles out, so we should be within range. Let's have a look at the nav radios. They are automatic, yeah, 117, they should all be fine, I don't know what's going on. But the frequency it's got tuned is correct. We can get flaps 15 set now. But yeah, it looks like we might have to land this without any glide slope. We're 9 miles out and we just got nothing. This worries me a little bit. Why? Everything's been set correctly. 11175/044. So unless it's something to do with the scenery, because the scenery decides the ILS. So unless the scenery's changed the ILS in any way, well, I'll say for now then, let's go ahead and we'll go down to final approach speed, and I guess I'll have to do the approach myself, because for whatever reason, we haven't picked up the localizer. Why is this moaning at us? It's maybe we've gone below. Altitude alert. It's fine. It's fine plane. I'll take manual control because yeah, this plane's being weird. And we'll drop the gear and go full flaps now, ready for landing. Yeah, I don't know what's up with this plane. This thing's going to moan at us about the gear config. Yeah, for some reason we haven't picked up the ILS. Please stop moaning at me, plane. You can stop moaning. We've put the flaps down. There you go. Now everything's fully down. It seems to be slowing down successfully. We'll put the speed brake out to help our effort a little bit more. So we are still slightly too quickly. Obviously this approach, rather than having an issue with the altitude, we've had an issue with, for whatever reason, not capturing the glide slope. But obviously I can use the LNAV and the VNAV that come with the plane to hold it. It's a bit odd. We can arm the speed brakes now. We're ready for landing then. I'm just confused, honestly. That shouldn't have happened. So, yeah, for whatever reason, I have to check the scenery. Because sometimes the scenery can change the ILS frequency. And the plane won't know about it. And it can sometimes happen. So, I'll check that. I'll check the README that came with the scenery, maybe. Or maybe the scenery kept the default thing, but the PMDG, because there is a setting on the PMDG to change nav frequencies so they match with the game, and it has done that. But yeah, I don't know. Something's gone on. Something a bit weird has gone on, but
500.
I'll just ignore it because in the end, you know, I can still follow. Well, I can just do a visual, honestly. The weather's good enough for a visual, so. And I can also follow our for VNAV. It does make our minimums
approaching
a bit far off, but
minimums.
Minimums continue. Don't know why it's giving us a little caution alert there. It's moaning we haven't got an auto land. I don't need auto land. What? What? That's not normal. Okay. That's a bit odd. My flight sim does not normally crash like that. I didn't even do anything to make it crash. Was it a bug to do with the localizer? There must have been a bug there that caused the crash. I don't think it was an out-of-memory error. That's really annoying as well, because I was literally on final. That's quite annoying. I was on final approach. Well, there we go. That's confused me a lot. Maybe dodgy scenery? I don't know. I'm checking now the scenery. There should be a README that comes with it. Doesn't really explain anything. Okay, well, hopefully that doesn't happen when I try to do some flying tomorrow, but that's that, I guess. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will leave you with the background music, and bye-bye!